Even here, thanks for joining me on Facebook and YouTube Live, and thanks as always to the sponsors, Cornerstone Business Solutions, Galaxy Blinds, Advanced Utility Solutions, Smith & Friends Estate Agents, Cleveland Systems Engineering, Dovecot and TGM Cars. The Borough team today, obviously, excellent start, not been beaten, and we travelled to Southampton today, and the team that started was Saul Bryn, Target, Jones, Edmondson, Ayling and Britton, Morrison, Hackney, Whittaker, Conway and Strelick. And on the bench was McLaughlin, Bazog, Brown, Nepan, Senny, Silvera, Hanson, McCormack and Canty. That was the starting team and the substitutions. Obviously, I watched the whole game, as I always do, away games. First half, Borough was second best all over the park. Never really get going. One shot in target for either team, and that was Southampton, and it was tame. I think I could have saved it. But yeah, we didn't function right first half. The two central midfielders were stifled. The wing backs never get forward. Up front, we were starved. Conway was running about, never got a kick. Strelick, the only time he came alive when the ball's over the top, but we never once played through the middle. Second half, we livened up. We woke up. But then in 61 minutes, they scored a goal. Ball came in for the right, took a slight deflection. It fell at the lad, I think it was Armstrong, and he's hit it as sweet as a nut with his left foot, and it flew in the bottom left-hand corner. But 78 minutes in, obviously, big Rob Edwards, the coach, like he does every week, he gets players on if it's not happening, and he did it again, and the saviour came off the bench, Senny, and he scored a goal. It was an acute angle. It was a strange goal. I had to watch it 2 or 3 times to understand how it went in. It was an acute angle on the right, inside the 6-yard box. He's hit it. The defenders blocked it. It's ricocheted up in the air. The keeper has not even got his hands up. His hands are down here, and it flies into the top of the net. But we don't give a flying how it goes in. It was great to keep chipping away, get another vital point, still unbeaten, and fantastic. And we're still sitting pretty up the top. I think we're 4 points clear. Coventry, they won, was it last night? Was it 3-0 they won? And Stoke City today, they could only draw against Norwich at home. So Tuesday night is going to be a great game. And we have to be up for it. But I do question the wing backs for me have to do more. Defensively, we were solid throughout in the main. The goal, I don't think there was much we could do, but it was one of them, took a wee ricochet, came into the lad's path, he hit it as sweet as a nut with his left foot, as I say, and went through a ruck of players. So I don't think there's anybody really to blame. But I still think wing backs have to do more because the front men rely on service, and I don't think we do enough of that. I thought, say, the first half, both Hackney and Morris were getting clogged and bogged down. They were closing, they were getting in there. We couldn't function properly. And up front, as I say, the only time Strelick came alive was long balls over the top. And Conway and Whittaker never got a kick for the duration of the game before they got the hook. That's not being detrimental to them. I'm just telling you what I've seen. It's a difficult job up front, especially when you're playing 3 centre-backs and the wing-backs aren't getting forward and, as I say, getting balls into the box. So, but I have to say, it's still a great point. There's going to be we could have come back. I could have been on now saying, well, we'll get beaten finally, first game this season. We've finally been beaten, but we've not got beaten. It's another point. If we keep getting away points and we keep winning home games, we're not going to be far away into the season. Obviously, it's going to start, fin out of Christmas is vitally important for every team. Well, for the magnificent start, everybody deserves the praise. But going forward, first half, as I say, I was a wee bit concerned. I didn't think I think the guy, I heard a guy saying that they had only won 1 league game in 20, obviously, came back to last season, but they'd only won 1 league game this season. I think it was against Wrexham. So they weren't in a rich vein of form. We are, but we're away from home. It's a long journey. I know these days we don't get horse and cart like we did back in my day. They fly down now, but it's not a long way. Never miss a comment. Yeah, great point, Bernie. Up the effing Borough for Kev Naylor. And Adrian Patterson says, I'm happy with that, Bernie. A few teams, that including Southampton, are still in a false position. Good team. So I was happy with a point, still keeps us 4 points clear. So we have that cushion of a loss and still be top. Chris Charlton says, good draw, Bernie, and hope you're keeping well. Chris, hope you're keeping well. Keep them coming in. I'll read these because I never read these and always apologise. Jamie says, tougher game than I expected, Bernie. Yeah, hey, look, it was going to be tough. None of the we cannot afford, because we're unbeaten. We cannot afford to come with the swagger and just think everything's going to fall into place. It's not. We're now the team to beat. Everybody wants to beat us. They want our scalp. And thankfully didn't get today. But as I say, if you were a novice or an alien landed in Southampton today and you said, what team's unbeaten? You wouldn't have said Middlesbrough, you'd just say Southampton. They were a better team. First half, closing down. What they did as well, and other teams might cotton onto this. When we get the ball, we usually get it at the back and then we play up the flanks or hit it long. They had, if we've got 5, 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs, they had 4, even 5 at times, closing us down, blocking us. That's why the 2 central midfielders weren't greatly involved in the first half. They were just closing everything down, clogging it up, frustrating it in the faces. And it worked for them. But the second half, obviously, there's been a few words exchanged in the dressing room. Have come out more progressive going forward and more creative. And then, lo and behold, we lose a goal. But again, we showed we're steel to get back in the game. But I'm still sitting pretty, Bernie, at the top. Yeah, we're 4 points above Coventry. I mentioned that. 4 points above Stoke City, Lee. So, yeah, everything's still looking good. Class point, Bernie, on my jollies at Sandringham up the Borough. Well, Gary and Samantha, they're big Borough fans. Enjoy your trip. Adam Walton says, I'll take that point considering we sounded like we were off at first half. Still 4 clear. Up the Borough. Hope you're well, Slav. And you, Adam. Look, we have to be delighted. Come on. We have to be delighted. Unbeaten. First. It was the best start, isn't it? The club's history, is that right? Is that the best start? What is this? So keep them coming in and I'll keep reading them out. And I know it's an odd time. Well, usually I do it later on, but obviously it's an away game. And I thought, what the hell, we just do it at 5 rather than 5:30. Got what we deserve today. Just a point. That's from John. Bernie, come on. You're an ex-player. What exactly does Whittaker give us? What does Whittaker give us? Well, last week, the week before, Whittaker came in for a wee bit of flack. He came in for a bit of flack. Rob Edwards after the game, or was it 2 weeks ago? After the game, defended him. Says he's been playing. I think he used the word brilliant. I never heard the interview. I think the word brilliant came out. Well, that isn't true. The lad don't know that. You know that. I know that. Big Rob, obviously, he's got every right to say and try and get behind the lads. We're top of the league, and Whittaker's part of that. And I agree with all that, but I don't think you come out and say he's brilliant when he's not been brilliant. Far from it. Up front, I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, so we've got Strelic. As I say, wasn't really in it. It's like a service. Him and Conway are running about, wanting the backsides off, but not getting in it because there wasn't a lot of service for the flanks, especially. If you're playing wing backs, like back in the day when Gels played in the left, that was where your main line of supply was coming from. We've not got that. So the guys up front are working their asses off. They're not getting any real rewards, and it's difficult. So somebody, I saw in here somewhere, somebody asked me, so who would you play at the minute? Strelic? Would you play Conway? Well, at the minute, Senny, 2 games, he's come off the bench, 2 goals he scored. Didn't play well, but happy with the point up the Borough. Bernie, Keith Williams, Rod Waite says, no easy game in this league, Bernie, a good result. Borough would have lost these games in the past. Probably, I agree with that. Sometimes you have to win ugly. Looking forward to Tuesday night. That's for Spurs Rod. Rod's a big Spurs fan. I bumped into Rod a few times. He tells me how good the mighty Spurs are, but took big hands to win the trophy and then you sacked him, Rod. Kind of team do you support? Unbeaten in 7. What a start. Fortress Riverside will be the key this year. Adam Walton. Right, home form's been good, and that's where you rope people in. And if you win your home games, you're not far away come the end of the season. Elizabeth Pounder says, once again, the subs changed the game. It did, Elizabeth. You're right in saying that. Rob Edwards doesn't hesitate. You know, that was one of the criticisms of Michael Carrick when he was in charge. He would dilly-dally, late subs, too late. This guy, he goes with it instinctively, right? Change it. Let's chop and change. Let's get Nipan on. Let's get Seni on. Let's get Belzog on. And he does it. And it's worked a treat so far. Whereas they today, they hesitated. They took off Azaz. How did Azaz go today? In my opinion, Azaz huffed and puffed. He missed a golden opportunity first half. I think it was about half an hour in. He got the ball. He's 10 yards out. He should hit the target, and he totally fluffed it. Fluffed his lines. He had a few nice touches and threw balls, but he ended up getting the hook. I don't know if it was a tactical decision, but we were 1-0 down at the time. Took him off, and so yeah, I think Finn Azaz was okay. Pamela Turnbull says, decent point. Luke Ayling has been brilliant lately. Pleased for a manager. Make subs unlike the predecessor. Best ever start in Boris history. Bring on Tuesday night. P.S. I hate Spurs. Come on, Wolves. You hate Spurs? That's a bit strong, Pamela. Shouldn't hate anybody. Luke Ayling, man of the match. Is it Alan? Said mob of the match means man of the match. Yeah, of course you're allowed to say man of the match because it's men's football today. Nah, man of the match. Man of the match. Did I see a man of the match today? No, I used to get in my day with the late great Ali Brownlee doing commentaries, and don't forget we did hundreds of games. Now and again, I would just hold on to the bottle of champagne. We used to give a bottle of champagne. It was Bradley's the Jewelers that used to sponsor it. And he used to give us a bottle of champagne to give to the players. And now in a game, I would say, Ali, you take that home. I didn't see a man of the match today. I don't see a man of the match today. I'd probably give it to Senny just for his contribution when he came on and scored the goal, because we didn't look like scoring. Wasn't a lot of shots on target. None in the first half. I don't think it was many second half, to be fair. Decent point. Luke Ayling has been brilliant. What a difference changes make. Wouldn't see Carrick doing that until the 75th minute. Undefeated still, and home advantage to Stoke up the Borough. Yeah, that's a fair point. You know, home record's good this season. The form in the opening 7 games has been fantastic. You have to give praise. I mean, some people find it hard to praise, easy to criticise. I can criticise with the best of them. But I love to give praise as well. I love seeing nothing better than local lads in our team and doing the business. I mean, delighted for Saul Bryn, young goalkeeper. You know, been toughed out, loaned out, here, there and everywhere. Last season he came in, grabbed the first team shirt in between his sticks on merit. Then he got a bad injury. He was out for the duration of the last season, tail end. Then he's back in this season and he's doing brilliant. Dieng, nobody mentions Dieng now. I don't even know where he is. Might have fell down a hole in Linthorpe Road. Bernie, got my train ticket sorted for your 40th. Oh, I'm just reading what Gary's putting there. Bernie, got my train ticket sorted for your 40th. Really looking forward to it. Bought 2 tickets months ago, coming from Herefordshire. So just hope everything goes well. Got time off. Won't miss it for the world. Well, Gary, Samantha, thanks very much for purchasing tickets. Thanks for coming along. I'm sure it'll be a night of nostalgia and memories, and there'll be a bit of fun there. The lads will all be getting quizzed, and no doubt they'll be taking the Jeffrey at myself. But I'm sure it'll be a great night. Loads of big names coming up, are turning up. And they'll all be doing a wee chat. They won't be coming just to sit and have a drink or whatever. They'll be having a chat and talking about the past memories. So it should be a fun night, Gary and Samantha. And I'm grateful that you're travelling. Not only do you travel to watch the Borough, you're travelling to come to a night at the Town Hall. Strongest Matt Monroe, yeah. Strongest bench we've had for years, Bernie. Changes have made a big difference so far this season. Without a doubt, Mark, that is one of the strongest points we've got. You look to the bench over the last couple of years, inexperienced, young lads, novices, apprentices. Now there's guys coming on that look the part. You know, they do look the part. They're strong, they've got a bit of pace. You look at Nipan, he's nimble, lightweight, skillful. direct. Nipan, last couple of games, scored the vital goals. So, yeah, the bench is looking very good. And that's one of the things when you know that Big Rob Edwards is changing things, you know that there's going to be a bit of quality come off that bench. But I like the mixture. You know, if you're looking at the team, you've got Ailing in there and Big Edmondson. Vastly experience. And that's a big thing at the heart of the defence. Taggart's no spring chicken, is he? But yeah, then there's a lovely mixture. Morris and Hackney, as I say, wasn't greatly involved today. First half, never got a kick. But those two together in the main have did fantastically well. As I say, Whittaker still has to, my phrase and terminology is set the heather alight. I feel sorry for the lad to a degree. You know, people are on his back, but that's going to happen. I read somewhere, what was it I put? I put something there about people getting sick. So this was a call and they'd put a message into there. I'm just going off the subject of Borough at the minute. I'll come back to it. Colin says, I heard Southampton striker Damon Downs, who signed for £7 million in July from FC Cologne. So he joined Southampton for £7 million. FC Cologne came off social media due to stick. And it's just football related stick. What do you make of it, Bernie? Well, listen, if you can't take stick on social media when it's purely sport driven, it's part and parcel of the game, Colin. It's a game of opinions. And you might shut your social media off, but you can't shut 20-odd thousand fans' opinions when they're live in the games. But I would say to Damon Downs, I would say to Damon Downs, I know he won't be watching this, but if he was watching this, I would say, if you're upset with opinions about your game and your standards and you're not doing the business so far and you're taking stick and you can't handle it, I would suggest you get another sport. Football, part and parcel, is getting flat. People are paying 30, 40, 50, more than that, to watch players doing the business. They're paying for entertainment. If you cost £7 million and you're not doing it, they're going to get on your case at Southampton. And like Borough, it's the same when I played. If you didn't put an attacker, they wanted to kill you. They wanted to string you up with the goalies. That was part of it. The chicken run, renowned chicken run, dear me. They used to want to hang you just for backing out a challenge. Or, as I say, back then you could beat a couple of players, chip it just over the bar and they'd go, oh, unlucky. And then somebody would, like Gary Hamilton, would go in and go right through. They were up, come on. They wanted to kill the opponents. So today I think players are spoiled. Social media, if you can't take any stick in social media, football related, of course, not being a bigot or a racist or homophobic, nothing like that. This is purely football related. If you can't take it, get off social media and change your sport. Anyway, back to the Borough. Why am I going in that? Strongest pen you ever. I think we brought in Roger Whittaker, not Morgan Whittaker, Roger Whittaker. I bet you like Roger Whittaker. For the younger viewers, he was a singer. I wasn't, well, no, I wasn't a fan. Richard Pearson says, got to be happy with a point away at Southampton, but I think they were there for the taking today. Can forgive Morris for that today, and he's been class, he has been, but probably the worst I've seen him play since he got there. Strelick, I don't know, Bernie. It's only his second game. He just looks tired and needs to settle in. Ailing was top drawer. As I keep saying, Ailing has got a new lease of life. Why? Because instead of being isolated as a right back, he is now in a threesome. You know what I mean? On the right of that threesome. And if he's not got pace, because obviously he's of age, he's over 35, he's not got the legs. So if it goes past him, he knows the other guys will sweep up for him. But he reads the game well, no doubt he communicates well, and he's a great professional, and he's doing well. He has. But I keep saying 3 defenders should do well against 1 centre forward. How many teams play 2 centre forwards? I don't know if there's any exist these days, and there's certainly not. Yeah. I'd like to see, forget I've covered all that. Football's about opinions. If you don't get stuck in, you're in the wrong game. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Tony says, any tickets left for your 40th event at the Town Hall, Bernie? There is, Tony. I believe they're all up in the balcony. You can get them via, I'll read them out just quickly because Tony's asking. If you want tickets for the Town Hall, it's the event. I've got a thing here. Always carry this because my mind's like a sieve. Guys, it's turning up tonight. Bruce Rare, Tony Mowbray, Gary Pallister, Steve Gibson, Stewie Downing, David Wheater, Matt Proctor, David Hodgson, Craig Hignett, John Henry, Archie Stevens, Terry Cochran, Julio Archer, Neil Madison, Ian Baird, Nicky Moan, Steve Vickers, George Friend. There's so many coming. Now, if we can't fill that with all those players, I remember Warnock last year. What did Warnock do for Middlesbrough? All these guys are some absolute legends in amongst them. Don't come for me. If you don't like me, I don't give a flying. But all the other guys, come on, absolute guys. There's guys in that list who were loyal, successful, unlike a load of players over the years who have got thousands at testimonial games and turning up at Hall. This is a real deal. Anyway, so if you want to order tickets for the balcony, 01642 729 729, that's the town hall, or you can dial 07368 870 120, or you can email the word 7.enterprises@hotmail.co.uk. Nipan should have started, but we didn't play well, especially the first half. Happy with the point. Bring on Stoke. Really happy with a point, Bernie. That's with Palmer Metcalf. Really happy, Bernie, top of the league. Gareth Lowe, it says about Nipan. Listen, the first half, if you're a Borough fan, you watched the first half, we were poor. We were second best. If we went 2 goals down, you couldn't moan. But the second half, we came out the better team for the opening 10 minutes, and then we let it go on, but we kept chipping away again. Played poor, still take a point. This is what promotion teams do. I agree, Phil. Last year, we would have folded like a deck of cards. Yeah, as I say, last year, I don't think with the gumption, the steel, the balls to grind out results and roll up the sleeves and get in amongst it. The bench was lightweight for a start, but I don't think the team, the style and brand we played, this fanning about the back and playing kamikaze football, as I call it, was no good, especially when you lost the goal. We'd have lost the goal today and we'd have still been messing about at the back. And that's more advantage to them than us. Gary Samantha Williams says, what about Lenny Lawns? Do you know what? I actually mentioned to my old mate Gary Pallister that I'll to ask Lenny. Hey, I've not actually grind with Lenny now. It's gone. History. You know, you have to move on. You can't hold grudges and think, oh, what the back. But we're facing forward. I will invite Lenny Lawns, and I hope he takes up the invite, and I hope he's there. Stuart Gourley says, evening, Bernie, good point. Can't win them. Can't win them all. Still unbeaten up the effing Borough. Stuart, you're right. As I say, we go with the intention today. A point's not the end of the world. We'll class it as a good point because it's a away game. And we've achieved that. So we still have to give praise. 3 points would have been amazing, but hey, come on. 7 games in, undefeated. Best start in the history. Good point, Bernie. Stephen Jarrett. Yeah. Stuart Gourley says, evening, Bernie, good point. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'll read these out. Keep them coming. I'll keep reading them. I see Kaylee Senny liking himself to Benzema of Real Madrid. This is for Joanne, sorry. Did he? I don't know he says that. Benzema was some player, wasn't he? Real Madrid, big centre forward, scored loads of goals for Madrid, played with Ronaldo. And Strelic is one of the best strikers in Europe. What do you think, Bernie? Well, I think at the minute, any Borough fan that's coming out with those comments, the players might, but the fans need to see these lads 12, 14 or going out at the end of the season to give an honest assessment. But I think personally it's premature at the minute. Strelic looks well built, lad. He looks strong. Today he's touched deserted on a couple of occasions, which I found a wee bit disappointing for an international player. There's a ball over the top second half. He's in a good position inside left, in the box, the opponent's box, and he's pulled it. Hopefully he's looking to pull it down and it drifted out. So yeah, I'll hold judgment on them. Where else are we? Two of the most talented players, two of the most talented players last year, Van der Berg and Azaz. But would you agree with two were mentally weak? Weak mentality, and that has helped us in a roundabout way. Possibly. As I say, at the minute, everything's wanting a treat, Phil. And we've soon forgot about Van der Berg and Azaz. You know, if I keep... It's not the voice of doom, but I'm a realist, not a fantasist. I see that regular. if we were beat today, which is hypothetical, we've not been beat. If we were beat today, beat against Stoke, then you see the real Borough team. You really see the mindset and what we're all about. It's easy smiling and getting into games super confident when everything's cock a hoop and everything's going your way and you feel like indestructible. Once you lose a few, that's when you start, a wee bit of doubt creeps into certain players' heads. Not them all. It's like me, score a goal, then you hit a patch, you don't score goals and you think, how am I going to get out of this? And then it starts biting away at you, biting away at your confidence of being there individually and as a team. It's how you come out of it. But hey, let's hope we become like the Invincibles, like the Arsenal under Arsene Wenger. We go right through the season without losing a game. Do I think it'll happen? No. Pamela Turnbull says the referee was like Bruce Forsyth dishing the cards out. Good one, that, Pamela. We'd have lost that last year. If you can't win, they don't lose. A point is a decent result, and all you could hear were the 2,500 Borough fans. I heard them. Safe journey back home, everyone. I agree with that, Pamela. Each and every one of the Borough fans. I know some watch it on the bus or the buses when they're coming back. Fans don't fly. Safe journey. Andrew Clark says a point is a point and still unbeaten up the Borough. Hey, unbeaten. Just hold on to that. Unbeaten in opening 7 games. Some of you didn't want Rob Edwards. I was probably one of them. I'm big enough to hold up my hand and say he'd have been third in my list. If there was a list of 10, he would have been in the bottom 2 or 3. Has he surprised me? Without a doubt. Does he deserve all the praise in the world? Without a doubt. He's been brilliant. Everything. PR side, brilliant. His coaches are brilliant. The team, brilliant. On the eye, brilliant. Result-wise, fantastic, brilliant. So, really evident this season that we never give up. This is for Stephen Wearmouth. So pleased for the travelling fans. Well worth the trip. I think anyone would take the point before kick-off to keep the unbeaten run. Definitely. There's nothing better. I mean, the lads will be coming back thinking, hey, yet again, we're pulled out of the bag. We've got another point on the board. 4 points above our nearest rivals, Coventry and Stoke City, who we're playing Tuesday. Tell me what you think Tuesday, how it's going to go Tuesday. Us in Stoke City. I mean, they only drew today at home against Norwich City. Norwich were 1-1-0 and they grabbed a point. Anthony Morton says, afternoon, Bernie. Afternoon, Anthony. I hope you're doing okay. Going away to Southampton isn't easy, despite the form. Coming away with a point when you're second best is a hallmark of a good team. 4 points clear. Hopefully continues Tuesday night up the Borough. I agree. Dave Carney says, fantastic result up the Borough. Keep them coming. Positive. Praise the team. Praise the coaching staff, the players, the fans. A wee story about it just sort of came back to me, not in this stadium. It was the Dell, the old Dell. And I always remember I scored down there. I think we won 3-2. Matt Butt scored, and I think I did score. But when I scored, the travelling Borough fans were behind the goal I've scored in. And I always remember there was a fence like the Hallgate used to be, and I jumped on it and I was rattling it. I was clenching my fists on it and I was celebrating with the Borough fans, the travelling Borough fans. And anyway, a couple of players tapped my back, our players, the Borough lads. Anyway, I discovered that they'd put like a tar to keep the fans off the fence. And I was stuck for about 40 seconds. I'm turning round, they're all at the halfway line, waiting for me getting off the fence. That was to keep the fans off, and here's me, lunatic on the fence. That's what adrenaline does. That's what scoring goals, and that's what passion does. Stuart Gourley says, Borough 2-0 on Tuesday. So Stuart's not messing about. He's already predicting after today's great point away at Southampton, that we're going to go on Tuesday at the Riverside and 1-2-0. Gary Samantha says, Bernie, did you notice last week our centre-back went up, had a clash of heads, then stopped the game and restarted. Then he shouted, ref, ref. I can't see. It was unbelievable battle, Bernie. I wish him all the best, but he put his head in there. Yeah, tough players, centre-backs are paid to do that, put their head in where players like myself wouldn't put the foot. Tony Mowbray was like that. Captain Fantastic. Big Palliser, who played alongside him, he was a classier player on the ball. Mugger was tough, rough, red car rock, dive in, put his head in where Pally wouldn't put his foot. And he used to get cuts and scars and whatever. But that's what centre-halves are paid to do. They're not there to glamorise things or... to entertain the fans. They're there to kill the opposition. That's what they're there for. To be a defender in football, in the main, you're there to spoil the entertainment. If you're an attack-minded player, you're there to entertain. Afternoon, Bernie. Good point down there. On to Stoke on Tuesday at home, up the Borough. That's from Brian Kent. I have Brian Adams says, Bernie, mate, very good away point against a tough championship side. Still unbeaten and 4 points clear at the top. A lot to like. Oh, Alec, listen, if you're a Borough fan and you cannot see the benefits of what is happening this season and not be encouraged and not be delighted, then you're not a Borough fan. It's been fantastic. Really is. I've got a boy that lives in Edinburgh. He's born and bred Middlesbrough. He's buzzing. He loves the Borough. He gets impressed like last year, awful football at the end and getting beat. This year, he's cock a hoot. Angelo. Hi, Angelo. Good afternoon, Bernie. Today, Ailing have 2 good pass at least, but can score 1. Yeah, probably a wee bit of mixed up there. Good afternoon, Ben. So, hi, Angela. The free kick hit the post. Yeah, that's one. The post. Tiger, free kick. Conway, first half. Conway stepped over it, and Big Tiger whipped it with his left foot, and it hit the base of the right-hand post. It was a great free kick, very unlucky. It's a good point, but the referee's double standard make me so disgusted. Come on, Borough, up the Borough. See you in mid-October from Hong Kong. Angelo. So this lad, Angelo, he's a massive Borough fan. Him and his mate flew over not so long ago. Goes to every, where it's the ladies' football, the men's football, social clubs, local football. They come over from the other side of the world to support the team. He's coming over to watch the Borough, obviously, in October, and he's going to come to the Do It Town Hall. How nice is that? He's a massive Borough fan. Angelo, excuse my ignorance, is it China? That neck of the woods. Oh, sorry, but Hong Kong. Sorry, China, Hong Kong, next door. Never been good at geography. So he's Hong Kong. I remember I used to go to Hong Kong with Borough lads. We used to go and play 5-a-sides. Brilliant trips, great trips. Loads of ex-pros there. There'd be Craig Hignett, John Henry, Viv Anderson, Terry Cochran, Pallister, Proctor, Chairman. They were great days. They were fantastic memories. Palmer says 7 games unbeaten. Never mind the playoffs. Let's get automatic promotion. Well, Pamela, why not? I mean, there's only 39 games left in the league. What could go wrong? Come on, Borough fans, 39 games. What can go wrong? So where are we here? It seems ages. No, that's rubbish. The last it seems ages. This was before today's game. He's put this in. Terry, who would be your number 1 centre forward? At the minute, you'd have to say Senny. The last couple of games, goals. I mean, the goal today. By the way, I think it was Wood. He was at Borough, wasn't he, Wood? I think he got it. He got the goal because it deflected off him, but it's Senny's goal for me. Senny hit it. Big Woods went to put his leg out. It's deflected. It's went up in the air, spiralled up in the air. The keeper never even put up his hands. And it just flew over him, hit the roof of the net. So for me, at the minute, Senny. Strelic still finding his feet in this division, although he's an international player and scored a wonder goal against Germany. A couple of weeks ago? What a goal that was. I'm sure he'll be a hit. I do honestly think he'll be a hit. Conway is sort of caught between both things at the minute. He's just working his socks off, but not getting into games. I personally would hate to play that role. I couldn't do it, to be honest. I was blessed when I played with a lot of very, very good centre forwards. Right up with them. No number 10. I could drop back if I wanted and drift, but I played right up there. Any balls in there, I wouldn't be looking to win it because I didn't want a broken nose. That's why my nose is so straight. It might be big, but it's so straight. And they would get battered noses and they would do likewise to the opposition. The ball was fall to me or they would knock it to me and that hopefully I would score. But these days, not a lot of teams play that. So where are we here? So I'll read these out. It seems I've noticed. So this is for Neil. I've noticed you posting clips of newspapers cutting starting back in 1985, and you're going to keep doing it up until the 40th anniversary and the 30th of October. what's that about? Well, Neil, all this is about, he also says, what's that about and how did you think of this? I'll be honest, it was, I'm from a rough council estate in Glasgow, Castlemilk. I'm not embarrassed to say that. I'm proud of that. That's what shaped me and makes me appreciate things and being considerate of people and loving animals, whatever. Came from rough council estate. I played for Morton. I was 16, 17. I was in the reserves. One of the first team regulars was passing the ball to me in the reserve game. He was out injured, so he was having to go in the reserves to get fit again back in the first team. And he was passing the ball to me in the warm-up. And I remember him saying to me, I don't care what you, as long as you don't shove it down my throat. But he just says, oh, you know I'm Jehovah's Witness? And I went, yeah, I know, Badger. I says, I'm aware of that. That's fine. I'm cool with that. He says, another thing, do you keep scrapbooks? And I went, Badger away. Scrapbooks? I'm for the council estate, Castlemilk. I'm not going to collect scrapbooks in my cell and the team. He went, no, listen. And he came over to me and he went, listen, you might have a family down the line. Honestly, he says, I didn't do it at the start and somebody put me on it and I started collecting them. I'm just trying to. And after that talk, I did. And I'm delighted I did. My loft's full of scrapbooks. And because of this 30th, it got me triggered to say 40 years in TC's October, I'm going to start delving into the archives. There's loads. I mean, there's some. Last night it was ones about I went missing when we went to Bermuda with Middlesbrough. It was all over the national papers. You know, people forget that. When I first arrived, 85, liquidation, bankruptcy, all the headlines. So there's some interesting stuff there. And there's some that, you know, people think I'm opinionated now away for the game. Wait, you see some of the headlines coming up. You know, headlines were fighting with Bruce, no fighting. Bruce Rayek arguments with me, Colin Todd, Lenny Law, loads of them. So I've always been that, yeah, whatever you want to call me. Great point today for the Borough. Southampton bring on Stoke Tuesday night. Up the Borough, that's from Daniel Jones. This team hasn't been together for long. It will only get stronger, Bernie. I think that's a fair point, Stuart, because some of them come in late on, a couple of weeks before the deadline. They've all made an impact in the main. Yeah. And you're right. The more you play together, you become hopefully telepathic. You know each other's game inside out. Kev Mansfield, hiya Kev, just a fox in the box and an occasional worldie Bernard. Up the Borough top man. Monotone. Yeah, so just a fox in the box and an occasional worldie Bernie. Some boy you, Kev. Steve Clark says, a Borough boy, I drove from Manchester to West Bromwich Albion game last Friday. On current form, I would drive to every match if I could up the Borough. So Steve Kirk is a Borough boy. He drove from Manchester to West Bromwich Albion game last Friday. On current form, he would drive to every match if he could. Well, that's the indication how big an impression we're making this season. Bernie, I have a shoebox. I understand. Don't know what that means, but Gary, but talking about shoes, I think you maybe try to have a wee dig at my talking about shoes. Went to an Oasis concert 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, in Manchester. My mate Big Mark, he drove. We packed up in Bury. We walked through the centre of Bury. We had a coffee with early morning. The gates don't open to 3 in the park. Anyway, I passed the shoe shop and I thought, shoes half price, being a Scotsman, you know, half price, let's go in and get them. So I go in, nice pair of shoes, and it was before the season started. And I host the Legends Lounge at the Riverside, so I thought, I've got a nice club suit, nice tie, new shirt, nice pair of shoes would go with that. So I go in, much of the half price, thank you very much, mate. Take some, put some in Big Mark's car. We go to the concert, great gig, travel back, just throw them in the room, in the box, in the bag, the plastic bag. 2 days before Borough's first game of the season, I delve into the on the night. I'm trying my suit on, make sure it still fits, you know, tying that on, and then I go takes the shoes out the box, and I go at that, and I looks at them. They look good, by the way, but I thought, and I did that again. 3 times I did that, and then I realised there were 2 left footers. I know I was only good with my left foot, but 2 left-footed shoes. So It's an easy mistake. Did I send them back? No. Am I going to go back and swap them? No. Anybody want to buy 2 left-footed shoes? They're yours. They're brand new. Maybe you can shape them. Maybe you've got feet that go that way. I don't know. There's people with web feet and 6 toes and feet that point outwards or inwards. Yeah, if you want them, you can have them. So where are we here? Sorry, I've lost it. No, Bernie, it's because of my achievements. Oh, Bernie, I have a shoebox. I understand. So no, Bernie, it's because of my achievements. Very good. Mon is the ton is Morton. All right, Kev, I get it. I did ask you about a kit of theirs up the Borough. Yeah, Morton was blue and white stripes. I've still got a Morton strip. The original. I think I took it before I left, before I get kicked out. Craig Tuplin says 4 points clear at the top. Still a lot of improvement to be had. Hackney still to hit top form. Good job. Whittaker didn't give the ball away like Strelick did for the goal. That's true. All the Boo Boys would have been after him. Once the full team clicks, think we are all good for the season. As I say, Craig, we know, I say it, and I don't mean to pour water in the cold, but there is a winter months, there is injuries, loss of form, red, yellow cards, suspension. There's going to be all that to come, but we have got a big squad. We have got a big squad, so why can't we deal with it? Going back to the booing, again, look, reflecting on the scrapbooks, I'll be putting them out there over the next month or whatever. I had to go to the Borough Boo Boys when I played. It wasn't for me. I didn't give a damn. If you booed me, fine. If you gave me 6, fine. You're paying to watch me and us. And if you want to grind us down even greater when we're hitting a bad patch, carry on. But yeah, I look back and some of the younger lads were struggling. And I just put Borough Boo Boys get off our back. I put that in the headline. The fans gave me more stick for doing it. But you're entitled to shout it. I'm entitled to say what I want back as well. Well, I did at the time, but I got hammered for it. But that was cool. Yeah, you're entitled to shout things. Fine, as long as it's only football related. Anything else, then you're wrong. But if it's football related, you're within your rights. You pay money, hard-earned cash to watch football. Pamela says, well done, Spennymoor Town winning today. My friend's son is the keeper. Jake the Pig might buy your old shoes. Pamela, there's a joke in there somewhere, isn't there? I heard there's somebody get 2 right-footed shoes in Bury. They go around in circles. They can't get away. Steve Kirk says, send the shoes to me. I will swap them for you and get replaced. I'm 20 minutes from Bury. We'll post back to you. Oh, there you go. Steve Kirk lives near Bury. And he's saying that he will take the 2 left-footed shoes back. And, hey, I might be up for that. Send me your address privately, no one here, because everybody will be getting, they all want these shoes. I hope he isn't right-footed. That's for Kev. 1 shot on target, 1 goal. Colin, that's a fair point as well. I meant to say that at the top. We only had 1 real shot at goal, and it was a goal. What was the deflection? So it wasn't even, yeah. No, you're right, 1 shot. Hey, good stat that. Chris McGlade, hiya. Chris Edwards cannot start Whittaker on Tuesday. Well, Chris, he's kept it going up until now. And the flip side is he's played, I think he's played every game, hasn't he? Or the majority, and we've not lost yet. So do you just, if you do that, does that, it's about man management now. I'll give you a wee instance, Chris. My ratio at Middlesbrough was 1 every 2.5 games. I go every 2.5. And I had a barren spell where I couldn't hit the main stand. I was awful. I was down at training. I wasn't even scoring. I wasn't enjoying it. And Bruce Ray pulled me this day and says, listen. And I thought he was going to say he was going to drop me. And he went, listen, I know what you're thinking, but I'm going to play you. I've got faith in you. I never scored that next game, but the game after it I did, and I was back on track. That for me is good man management. You know, you can say I had a history of scoring, whereas this lad at Middlesbrough, he's not got any history as yet. You know, he cost a lot of money. 5 million quid for Middlesbrough is a lot of money. And I think my squad's big enough now. Are you telling me Nipan couldn't play there? Dennis, good evening, Dennis. I think was a well-deserved point. Southampton will be up there at the end of the season. They're a good side. They were today, Dennis. Well, the first half, but you know, I heard a stat where they'd only won one league game in the last 20. That's including last season. Only won one this season. So we met them when they're struggling. But I think their manager made 6 changes from the Hull City defeat midweek. 6. That's bold as well. Gary said, Bernie, is Janino? I love him. All the world. And he's still in Teesside. No, he's not in Teesside. He's in wherever he is. Is he back in Brazil? No, he's definitely not in Teesside. Yeah, he lives over foreign shores, Gary. Where are we here? Southampton, obviously, to the opponents. Did you ever score against them? I mentioned that. I did, yeah. I've scored a couple of these. I listened to your podcast. I enjoyed your 30 quick-fire questions with Terry Cochran. Who's next? Who's on Monday? I've got a queue. I've got five lined up. There was a funny one the other day. Somebody might follow me on social media. David Wheater came round. He's got a dog. Well, he's got 2 dogs, but he brought the young pup round, which is a big heifer, heavy thing. Young pup, lovely, beautiful. What was it called? Nancy. It was called Nancy. So Nancy comes in the house. I introduced it to my 2 new dogs because tragically I lost 2 of mine not so long ago. So the 2 new ones, Saffron and Sinead. We introduced Wheat's dog to my dogs, and then we separate them. Then I asked them the 30-odd questions. I've got the camera, and the camera's facing Wheats, and I'm doing the chat. And then we come to a question, probably 20-odd questions in, and I say, and Wheats, what about? And then the next minute he goes, oh, it's just weed on your floor. And and then he gets back and focuses back on the questions. Then he went, oh, no, it's just shat on your floor. By the way, I thought he was kidding. I didn't turn round. Professionalism. After the chat, turned round. Yeah, you're right. Big Barney on the floor. I listened to, I enjoyed 30, yeah. So next, I might put Weeks on Monday. As I say, I've got a host of players, of former players. Trev says, so you're 40 years in Teesside. Tell us 5 of your greatest memories, Bernie. I'll be there in the night, but I want to hear what you've got to say now. I don't know, Trev, come on. So, Trev, 40 years in Teesside, tell us your 5 greatest memories. Well, any goals I scored against Newcastle and Sunderland, I scored a few. I think I scored 9 or 10 derby games. So they were certainly one of the memories, Trev. Really getting Chelsea. Absolute. That was my greatest achievement in the Borough shirt. Greatest moment. Loved it. Really getting Chelsea in their own backyard. Absolutely loved it. Playing at Wembley, first Borough team to play at Wembley. You know, you look at the past, guys like Camsell, Clough, Fenton, Alan Peacock, God rest them, Mannion. They played for England, but not for Middlesbrough. And we played there in 1990. Unfortunately, we lost 1-0. Tony DeRigo free kick. So that was up there. And my 2 sons, greatest achievement, born in Middlesbrough. Obviously, you love your family. I love my sons, and they were born and bred here. And obviously, achieving everything at Middlesbrough. When I came, we were in the second. We ended up in the third. Then we went third, second, first. I left Borough when we were in the Premier League. Got to Wembley. International recognition with Jack Charlton, former Middlesbrough boss, of course. So they were probably my greatest achievements and the things that stick out for me. Carrick wouldn't have made, as he said, Christopher Abel. Carrick wouldn't have made any substitutions until the last 5 minutes. Well done, Edwards, once again. That's the difference from getting a point or leaving empty-handed, which we've done under Carrick. Yeah, as I say, Michael Carrick would have been aware of the stick flying about at the time, and it was a fair point. He hesitated. It's like a striker. You go through and goal. The who hesitates lost. If you go, well, I put it right corner, left corner. The time you think that, the chance is gone. Well, when you get things in your head, should change it now. You should change it. And Rob Edwards isn't hesitant, and he's not messing about, and he's doing it instinctively. Right, okay, let's change it. Get him off, you go, on you go. And it's really changing things, and up to now it's come up trumps. Is it true we haven't beaten Southampton away in the last 25 years? I don't know if it's 22 or 25. Long time, Colin, eh? Well, maybe 25 now. Yeah, it's a long time. You talk about Southampton. Southampton, best player I've ever seen at Southampton, Matt Letizia. What a player. But he get very few England caps because he was lazy. But his goals are probably the best goals I've ever seen. Some of the goals, unbelievable. Tricks, flicks, 40-yarders, overhead kicks, volleys, magnificent. Michael Burnesson says, Hackney was given Azaz a hard time all game. Love that from him. He was, but he didn't. Hackney wasn't really in the game. He wasn't man marking Azaz. If he came into his territory, he wiped him out a couple of times, which is encouraging. That's what you want, isn't it? You want your man to encourage. Where are we here? So 40 years I mentioned that. We got with reserve today, Bernie a point. No, I think I've mentioned that, haven't I? But anyway, give us your predictions. We're running out of time. Give us your predictions for Tuesday night's game against Stoke City. Stoke City, played against them in the past. Had a few games against them. Yeah, I have scored, yeah. I remember got to Port Vale and playing in the first, that was a derby game, Stoke City, Port Vale. Wow. What a crowd that was. That was jam-packed that night. It was during the week, and I think we lost. Bruce Schrobbler was in goal for them. Home games, played against Stoke and scored and beat them. The one against Man United, in the background of the picture when you put one past Peter Schmeichel. I love it, Bernie. It's in your autobiography. Yeah, what Gary's, I know we're here to talk about now. We're obviously reflecting the past because we're talking about posts I put on recently. And I listen, despite what society has you believe, you cannot delete the past. The past will always be there. Records will always be there. But what Gary's saying is Man United. My first goal against for Middlesbrough was 85, 86. First home game I played was Bradford. First away game was Leeds United at Ellen Road. We could beat 1-0. And then I think I played Sunderland. And then my first home game was against Bradford. And it was 1-1 and I was fortunate to score. That was the very first goal for the club. And then 8 years later, my last goal was against Man United. I think it was the 3rd of October, 1992 in the Premier League. It made me Ireland's first goal scorer in the Premier League. No, I didn't know that. Somebody told me. I'm not clever enough to know that. Southampton fans giving us Zaz. He says the worst player they're signed. So Southampton fans are giving us Zaz hell. He says he's the worst player they've signed. But at Middlesbrough, the fans, a lot of fans that I know and obviously going with the general consensus didn't like Finn Azaz. The thing I would say to them is he was productive. Yeah, he was lightweight at times, didn't hold the ball up, didn't look a big personality out in the field, wasn't a leader. But he was the most productive player last season. He was a couple of goals behind Conway. He created more goals than anybody in our team. He was the biggest supplier. For me, he was our player of the season, but we gave it to Hackney and Conway. That's in the past, but I'm just trying to be a realist here. But the fans never really took to him. And then when he goes to Southampton, he comes out with a comment, I think it was something like joining a bigger club, or, well, that's a myth, isn't it? A bigger club? You're joking, Southampton. Johnny Tiger McMahon says, replying to Chris McGlade, he needs to sap some of today's subs too, mate. Fair enough. Middlesbrough to beat Stoke 2-1, Trevor Harrison. Michael Burneston 2-1 to the Borough. Pamela, who's the best manager you've ever worked under? 1-0 to the Borough on Tuesday against Stoke. Pamela, I worked when I first came, it was the late great Willie Madron. And but for Willie Madron, I wouldn't have had a career. Between him, Barry Gildat and Steve Gibson, those were the three that sanctioned the £25,000 they spent on me. An unknown. They obviously gambled. That was Willie Madron's last signing. Could rest him. Great eye for talent, did Willie. Signed Pallister, Stuart Ripley, and a host of others. Then Bruce took over. He came in as coach, number 2, and then he got the job full time. He brought Colin Todd in as a coach and Eddie Gray. He also brought Brian Little and David Nish. They were all international players. What a five-a-side team that was at training. But Bruce Reich, for me, then Colin Todd took over the managership. Wasn't a fan of Toddy as a manager. And then Lenny Lawrence, obviously, had my differences with Lenny for whatever reason. That's in the past. But Bruce Rare for me was number one. Bruce was just a great motivator, leader of men, strong. As I says in the past, had to shave every day, had to dress smartly, had to be punctual on time or you get fined. He didn't mess about. His late father was a sergeant major, so he took a lot of that on board. But he was smart. He's still smart, Bruce. He's had a knee operation. I don't know if he's on social media, but he's had a knee operation, knee replacement recently, and he's in rehab. So when he comes to town hall, he might be hobbling. But I'm sure, hey, he's a tough cookie. Used to be called the assassin, Bruce Rare. So, Pamela, Bruce Rare is the best manager I have worked under. Yeah, got 4 minutes. So, yeah, looking forward to Tuesday night. Obviously, be there. I won't be doing the live, obviously, because it'll be late the time I get back out the stadium. I'm predicting a big crowd there. There should be a big crowd Tuesday night playing a team that's 4 points behind us. And we're expecting another result and another victory. Why not? On the Crestdale wave, everything's going away. We've proved that we can make wholesome substitutions and it works. Everybody's confident. We've got a squad. Well, is it 28-man squad? We've got 30. It's incredible. When I say it, I don't believe it. My day, you had 12, 13 players. When I first arrived, 1 sub, then 2 subs. Now you've got 22 subs. But yeah, there looks a bond there. The PR looks exceptional. Over the years, I think the PR's been poor. I'll be honest. Well, for many years, I thought it was poor, often on the pitch. Now there's a togetherness, there's a connection, and everybody's batting the same way. Everybody's in tandem, and I think it's quite clear and obvious that it's working. And long may that continue. We need genuine things. We don't need, oh, we love this and we're the best club in the world. We don't need all that rubbish. There is a genuine connection and I can feel it, I can see it, I can hear it. And if we keep doing this, then I don't see any reason why that will evaporate or disappear. So listen, thanks very much for joining us. Obviously, as I say, the times change for whatever reason. Sometimes the days change because it's a late night kickoff. But have a great weekend. Just think, Borough, 4 points at the top, clear. Who would have believed that after the pre-season games? Who would have believed that? Big Rob Edwards had come in, wasn't everybody's choice. He's brought his own coaching team in. For me, that is vitally important. I think you should bring who you want, not who somebody else wants you to bring in. And it's what an absolute treat. Anyway, great weekend. If you've got a dog, bite an ice cream, or a cat, bite an ice cream. Any animals, look after them. Yeah. Anyway, see you later. Total BS. The 32 questions. I'm going to put David Wheater on. You can see it visually on YouTube as well. Funny as, especially when he's pointing at his dog, Big Nancy, doing the business on the floor. Brilliant show, Bernie. Get them dogs out before they copy Big Wheat's dog, put them up the Borough. Pamela, they're still in the house. We've took them 2 walks. That's it. Cheers, Bernie, for Stuart Gourley. Cheers, Bernard. Take care, Con Fry. Pleasure, Bernie. Big draw. See you later. Cheers. Up the Borough. Thank you. Well done, Borough.